Hey guys, this is Eibach Rich and this is the Anything Vlog, where I vlog about everything and anything. Today I'm up early, getting me some capping, feeding the cat. I'm going to head on over to my son's house. He bought some Eibach Sportline lowering springs for his 2015 Mustang GT. So I'm going to head on over there and help him install those and do a vlog on it. Alright guys, I'm at my son's house as you can tell, and I just opened up the box, the springs. You see it's Eibach. This is a Sportline edition. There's your 4 springs, your new bump stops, and new rubber covers for your shocks. Okay, it's going to be a lot of work, but it's going to be well worth it. If I'm not mistaken, it's 1.2 in the front and 1.5 in the rear. Before we get started on the springs, I want to go over a couple things. When you put springs on a car, when you lower it, you have all kinds of different things. One thing is that when you lower the car, rule is usually if you lower the car more than 1 inch, that you need to get it aligned. And so you should always try to plan on, if you're going to lower your car more than 1 inch, you should plan on getting it aligned. That's one thing. Another thing is, it changes the geometry of your suspension when you lower the car. So it's designed to be at a certain ride height, and you're changing that. So you can have issues with excessive tire wear because you're changing the camber of your tire. Your tire is going to be, top of your tire is going to be turning in, bottom of your tire is going to be kicked out more. So you can have some wear on the inside of your tire when you lower your car. Another thing when you lower the car is you have to keep in mind that your struts, your shocks, are designed for the springs they had on it. So they are going to be under a different load, more compressed at times, and you can have issues with them breaking and wearing out. So sometimes guys will put lowering struts or shocks when they put lowering springs. Yeah, keep in mind, like I said earlier, on this particular one, you are going to cut your bump stop. So it's because the car is sitting lower. So you do have to really watch your shocks and stuff like that. Now these particular springs are what they call progressive springs, and if you look at the spring itself, you can see that it actually has the bands, the coils are closer than they are on the bottom. And the reason for that is when it's under compression, under load, it gets stiffer. And so it enables you to have the best of both worlds. So if you're going to get springs, try to get springs that are like that, to where they have that tighter coils on the top, and that way you have the best of both worlds. Alright guys, that's just some of the things you got to keep in mind when you lower your car. There's a few things you just have to keep in mind. I mean, anytime you change the dynamics of your car, you change the way it originally made, you're going to have issues in other places that you have to be aware of, and you just have to do things to fix those, that's all. So you just have to keep those in mind. Alright, so I hope that helps. Now we're going to start moving on to getting the car up and start getting this job going. Okay, here's the front. As you can see, it's got a pretty good sized gap there. Let's go check out the rear. The rear, same thing, pretty good sized gap. So visually, that's what it looks like. I'm going to go ahead and measure to see what it actually is. Alright, I got a tape measure now. I'll go ahead and see if we can see what it is now. Okay, if it looks like roughly, looks like about 2 1/4 roughly to the top of the tire. It's not exact, but it's about 2 1/4 to the top. And here it looks about 2 inches, 2 inches at the top of the tire. Yeah. So it looks like it's about 2 1/4 in the front and 2 in the back, and that's just to the top of the tire from the fender. The way you're supposed to measure it actually is from the center of the hub, center of the rim, to the bottom of the fender. Alright guys, I got the measurements down from the center of the hub to the bottom of the fender. In the front it's 15 1/2, the back it's 15 3/4. That's from the center of the rim to the bottom of the fender. So it's 15 1/2 front, 15 3/4 in the rear. So we'll get it all done and then we'll see what it is when we're finished. Alright, we got all 4 tires off. I'm going to go on out and show you some of the tools you need. Pretty sure this is all the tools we need, but we might need a few more here. Okay, what we have here is a torque wrench, got a breaker bar, these are spring compressors. You can rent these, we own these. Hammer, this is a small little impact, this is a, I don't know if we're going to need that. 1/2-inch ratchet, 17-inch wrench, and you need these sockets. 13 millimeter, 15 millimeter, 17, 18, 21, and 15 16ths. You need a 18-inch deep socket. So you got to make sure you have one of those. You need a deep socket. So let me go show you where you need a deep socket, because we didn't have one. We have to get one. All right. You can see here that nut on the top there. Right here, I'm going to point to it. That's your sway bar. And you see how that bolt sticks out, so you need a deep socket. That's 18-inch. It's an 18 millimeter. You take that out first. Then you take the 2 bolts on the back to remove your caliper. Set that aside. Then you take your 2 bolts out here. The 2 big bolts. And when you take those bolts out, what you do is you take the nut and put the nut back on the very end, and then you tap it because that's pressed in there. Then you pull both those nuts out, pull the arm down, then you loosen these nuts. These 2 are already off. You leave this one on, loosen this last one, and then it should come right out. And once it comes out, you got to put your spring compressor on it and remove everything, and then put the new spring on and everything. Put everything back the way it was. So when we get to that part, I'll show you that as well. All right, guys, we have the passenger side out. We already got the other one done. This is what it looks like when it's out. This is the stock spring, and here is the Eibach. You can see the difference in size. We're going to put the spring compressors on, compress it, and pull everything apart and put it back on. I'm going to go here and show you the one we put back on. It's on the driver's side. You see the springs already in. Everything's back together. It's good to go. Alright, now I'm going to show you what it looks like. Now we have the new spring on, front right side. This is what it looks like. Spring is on. Got this rubber here to keep the noise down. You see how that is in the groove. New bump stop, dust cover, and we're good to go. On the front, you put a new bump stop and new dust cover. In the back, you use the old dust cover, put a new bump stop. So now we're going to put it back on and then start working on the back. Alright, we got both back ones done, and I want to show what it looks like now that we have the spring on and show you what you have to do to get it off. Okay, so there's your spring, as you can see. What you have to do is you have to take these 2 bolts loose for the shock. Take this bolt loose for your brake line. You have to take this blue bolt out right here for the subframe. This other blue bolt right here. And just loosen these 2 right here. Then you just lower the whole thing down, pull the spring out, put it back in, lift it up, put all the things back together again. That's how you do. You do each one side at a time. That's what it looks like when it's done. Now we're going to go ahead and put the tires on, get it down. We're probably going to have to put some under the tires because the jack might not come out. And then I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, so let's get that done. Alright guys, we're done. We pulled it out of the garage, took it for a ride. The thing is sweet. I mean, it looks so much better than it did before. It's got a great gap between. It's got a slight little rake, I mean a little bit, because the rear springs are progressive. You know, it's beautiful. So I'm gonna show you from a distance. We're gonna walk over to it and check it out, and you guys can tell me what you think. All right, here she is. You can see from the back, I can tell it's lowered more. It just has a much better line. Look at that. See, the gap in the rear is gone. No gap at all. Let's check the gap out in the front. No gap in the front. See how low it sits? It just looks beautiful. Beautiful. And it came out perfectly. It wasn't hard to do. The back was actually easier than the front. But it came out really, really nice. You can get over here, take it from this view, from this shot, a view from this angle. Look at that. Alright guys, that's gonna do it. It's finished. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I mean, I'm not gonna do a video. I wasn't gonna do a video of every single step and have it being 20-30 minutes long and running it, because there's no reason to show the car having to be jacked up, tires coming off. I mean, if you don't know how to do that, then you should be doing springs. So it's just wanted to show you the basics, you know, all that stuff aside, once it's up, once everything's off, how to get it done, and you know, what bolts and stuff you have to take off. And that's about it. So hopefully that helped. It gave you all the info you need, but if not, you can leave comments down below or questions. I'll get back with you. And I just hope you liked it. So if you liked the video, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And if you guys could please share my video, I really appreciate it. Sharing the videos really helps me out. It gets me more subscribers, so if you would share it, it'd be awesome. And so that's going to do it. All right, guys. I'll see you next time. Or I'll be somewhere else doing something else. Bye. Hey guys, I just wanted to give you this quick update. I realized when I was uploading the video that I didn't give you the final numbers of what it was after we lowered it. If you remember, the front was 15 and a half, and the back was 15 and 3/4. It ended up being 14 in the front and 14 and 1/4 in the back. So it's pretty good. It went down quite a bit. Alright guys, just wanted to give you those numbers. Alright, thanks.